Good morning. Today I'm working in the production kitchen. So you might see a different background behind me. Normally I'm doing a lot of work in the preparation kitchen, in the trainee kitchen. But this is production kitchen. This is where the food is cooked and goes to the customer. Today I am going to do simple. Got my glove on today. I'm going to do a sweet and sour chicken. When you're doing the sweet and sour chicken, the sauce is going to be, we start with a gastric. A gastric is sugar, so maybe 100 grams of sugar and 100 milliliters of vinegar, and reduce it down. Then you're going to add your tomato puree. Then you might add a little bit of lean pairing sauce, depending on. Yeah. Then you add a little bit of stock, vegetable stock, fish stock, depending on the sweet and sour. The item is normally cooked separate from the sauce. So in order to get the flavour combined, we season the chicken, then I'm going to score it like that, meaning that I put incisions in the chicken leg. By the way, this is a chicken leg. You can use skinless diced bread. You can use any part of the chicken, but it doesn't have to be on the bone, it can be off the bone. Right? But when you're doing a sweet and sour or barbecue, what you want to do, you want to make sure you season the chicken, but not over season. Don't put anything in the chicken that you don't want to come up in your sauce. So if I just do salt and pepper, then when I add the chicken to the sauce, it can take on the flavour of the sauce, but it will already be seasoned. So when you bite into the chicken, you're not getting the sweet and sour on the outside, and on the inside of the chicken it tastes very, very bland and fresh, like some people do. No. So season the chicken first, bit of salt and pepper. I've scored the chicken, then what I'm going to do, I'm going to separate the legs from the thigh. Once I separate the leg from the thigh, I'm going to pane it. Now, there's two ways to pane a chicken, or any ingredient. What is coating it. So I'm going to coat it flour, egg flour, and then I'm just going to pan fry it, and then I might just finish it off in the oven so it cooks all the way through. The other way you can do it, after you pan fry it, is to pour the sauce over it, then put it in a flat sauter with a flat frying pan with a high rim, and reduce the heat and let it slowly cook in the sweet and sour chicken, in the sweet and sour sauce. So I'm going to pan that chicken, flour, egg, breadcrumbs, and then I'm going to shallow fry it. I can take off these gloves now, and then I can get on with the stage two, pass it through the seasoned flour and the egg. So, right, that's my chicken, my raw chicken. That's my flour, and that's my egg. I also got a container. I'm going to put it in the final product, so then I'm going to take it over to the fryer. So, here we go. Put the chicken through the seasoned flour like that, with the thighs and your legs through the seasoned flour, and then into the egg mix, like that. Drain it off. In my flour, I've got chili powder, salt. And then I'm going to put the chicken, coat it in the flour, and then do that. In my egg mix, I've just got some chopped herbs in there. It doesn't have to be, it's just, it was lying about, I thought I might as well use it up. So, there I go. Chili powder in the seasoned flour, mixed herbs in the egg wash, and just do that. Cover it very nicely. It's easy. I could, if I chose to, believe it or not, deep fry it, but when you're doing the sweet and sour, it's better to shallow fry it because it's sauteed. Saute means to shallow fry. Cover the chicken, coat it in the egg wash, and then we're going to put it in a dish where I'll then transport it to my heated frying pan, and then I will start to fry it off, and I might complete it in the oven. In fact, I will complete it in the oven so that I can get an even heat, because when you're dealing with chicken, you want to make sure that the whole thing is completely cooked. You don't want to food poison anybody. So, just got a few more chickens to do, then we can go on to the next stage. There we go. A few more of these chickens, and then we're all done. Coated it in the flour, and into the egg wash. Get rid of that, I don't need that no more. Give it a good mix. Once I'm finished with the egg wash and the flour, I can throw it away. I don't need to keep it. No matter how much egg wash is left over, unless I'm going to do some more chicken, I'll throw it away because chicken contains salmonella. And we don't want to cause any problems, any food problems, any cross-contamination. So, that's the last of the chicken, all coated, all done. I take off my gloves, add that to that. The next stage will be to fry it, won't it? I am now in the preparation area of the kitchen. Oh, it's correction. I have moved from the preparation area of the kitchen, and I am now in the production part of the kitchen where I am going to cook the food. So I get I can use a tongs, get the chicken and place it in the frying pan. I've got the skin side down in the frying pan because I want to present it skin side up. I've got the electric at about, I think, 4, so it's not going too rapidly. It's fast enough to cook the meat slowly, but giving me time also to do other things. It's not going too fast so that I can be doing other things. Like if I need to do any chopping or anything else, I can do that. And in fact, I think the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to prepare the rice. Okay, so I'm going to get the rice on now. The chicken's cooking slowly. I don't need to rush around the kitchen. It's on gauge 4, medium heat. I'll let that slowly brown the chicken. About 2 or 3 minutes, I'll turn it over, and then I'll place it back into here, and then I'll finish it off from the oven. That way it will cook all the way through to the center, to the bone. Right, I've got 300 grams of rice. Now, normal, it's twice the liquid to the rice. So if it's 50 grams of rice, 100 millilitres of water. So I've got 300 grams of rice, so I've got 600 millilitres of water. I want to make it a little bit more exciting, so I'll put a little bit of turmeric in there, a little bit of oil, some bay leaves, turn that down to 1, cover it with the water, a little bit of salt in there, cover it with the lid, forget about it. Now the chicken is all browned, I want to take it and I'm going to cover it with cling film, not cling film, foil, and shove it in the oven. That way it's going to cook all the way through. And it's not going to brown anymore. It's just going to cook. We want it cooked all the way through, so I'll put a bit of foil on it. And then I can get on with the sauce. I remove that out of the way. I'm going to give this about 20 minutes. Once the chicken is cooked on the sauce, I'm going to remove this, pour the sauce over it, put it back in to cook, so just heat up for another 10 minutes. So I've got the foil over that. That will stop the chicken from browning anymore. Straight into the oven. 20 minutes. Check the rice. It's cooking nicely. With rice, what I do, once the water starts to evaporate completely, but there's still a teeny bit at the bottom, switch it off. Once you switch it off, it will continue to cook, the water will evaporate, and you will not get no burnt bits at the bottom. When the water is right down to bare minimum, switch it off. It will still continue to cook, the water will evaporate, and the rice won't catch at the bottom. Now I'm going to make my sauce, yeah? Now, the sweet and sour sauce that I told you before is a reduction of sugar and vinegar. Then you're going to add 2 dessert spoons, or 3 or 4, depending on how much you like tomato puree. Then you are going to add some fried onions, garlic. So you'd fry the onions and garlic first. Then you add the sugar and the vinegar and reduce it. Then you add the tomato puree. Then you add about 500 milliliters of vegetable stock, chicken stock or fish stock, depending on what the sweet and sour is. Then you reduce it by half. So you start off with 500 milliliters, you should end up with either 200 milliliters or 200 millilitres, but half of the original quantity. And as it's reducing, the tomato puree will thicken. Whilst I'm reducing it, I add a teaspoon of Chinese five spice, but that is optional. But that will give it that authentic taste. Then I'm going to pour that over the chicken. Give it another 5 or 10 minutes in the oven so it can soak in the flavour. Now remember, the chicken is already seasoned. Then I'm going to serve it with rice. Then the rice, I've turned it off. I've turned it off, and it's there. The water's gone. It's just sitting there, steaming away. But it's cooked. Okay, so I'm just waiting for the chicken now. Okay. Right, now it's wonderful sauce. I'm taking it off fire. Here it is. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to blend it. With my industrial blender. Hopefully it will work. And yeah, here we go. Hopefully it will